Yay! Cheers, you guys. Travel rates are going up. I am super excited to share with you that the rates are finally increasing. I know there was a lot of stress and anxiety about these summer rates, and I'm happy to report that I have seen a huge increase in the travel nurse pay. So we're gonna get into it. I'm gonna share with you the 3 states right now that consistently have the highest pay, and I'm going to talk to you about some crisis response rates, and I'm just going to talk to you about which specialties are really paying right now. So let's get into it. So fun fact, I just signed a new contract. I'm super excited. I will be sharing with you soon where it's going to be, but I still have a few more weeks left here in Indianapolis, and then I'm going to take a little bit of time off and go back home to Texas. It's the start of football season. We got a Texas-Alabama game that I can't miss, so I'm going to be going to that. But I did sign a new contract. I am so excited because it is very lucrative. It is way more money than I was making during my summer rates, and it's definitely not a glamorous place to go. So if I have any advice for you as a travel nurse wanting to make money, it is to be very open about where you're going. I know the traveling part is like part of the fun of travel nursing, but you might be surprised by some of the places that you go. They might be cooler than you think you are, but for me, I don't care where I go, and I think that helps me a lot. Like if I need to go to the middle of nowhere, Kansas, like you're gonna pay me the right amount of money, I'm gonna go. One of the biggest tips I can give you is if the money is important to you, then you need to be open about where you're gonna travel to. I just want to give a little side comment. I teach you on here to be the CEO of your nursing license, and I'm very transparent about the money because I think it's important, which I will tell you all about my new contract when the time comes, when it gets closer. But I just want to make sure that you guys are being the best travel nurses that you can be. I see some stuff on TikTok and it's just very annoying. Like, don't be a petty travel nurse. Go in there and give your best. Give the best patient care, give the best help to your local staff nurses. Like, go in there and really give it your all. Make them want to keep you, make the patients love you, be the best nurse ever, because while the money is great, we still have a job to do, and I don't want you to be that nurse that goes in there with an attitude. I feel like staff nurses really do appreciate those travel nurses that come in with a good attitude and are really there to help and to work and to give really good patient care. And I think that's really important, and I don't think I say that enough. I feel like I shouldn't have to say that. Like, we're nurses, we should be doing our jobs, but I've just seen some like weird stuff on TikTok, and I've actually met like, you know, a few travel nurses, not many, but a couple here and there that are kind of like bad apples, and I don't want us to get a bad rep. Like, I want us to be the superstars. We should be coming in, saving the day, and really making a difference. So, end rant. Okay, back to it. So let's talk about it. So right now, the highest paid position on Aya, which is the company I work for, is currently $9,163 weekly, and that is in Minnesota. So there are multiple positions right now in Minnesota and Seattle that are paying almost $10,000 a week in multiple specialties: ICU, apheresis, med-surg, because of the work disruption. So what that means is there's potentially going to be strikes. Now, I don't know how I feel about these. They're not my favorite to apply to because they're usually just like a 1-week contract, and while you can make a lot of money, it's very likely you will get canceled. A lot of these hospitals that are having strikes, their nurses are in unions, and usually the unions do pull through and come up with some type of agreement so that the nurses don't go on strike. So it's up to you. It's a little bit more volatile, especially if it's really far from where you currently are, really far from your home. But it could be very lucrative for you if you do decide to do it, or it's beneficial if maybe you live close to the area, you have friends or family in the area that you could stay with. So even if you fly out there and you get canceled, you can turn it into a week vacation and stay with some friends. Then it might be worth it. Besides those, let's talk about what rates I am seeing. So during the summer, if you weren't working summer, or maybe you were, the rates dramatically dropped. A lot of us got our rates cut mid-contract. I had the same thing happen to me. My rate got cut 6 weeks into my contract in Indianapolis by $17 an hour, and that really sucked. But when I went to look for a new contract, there was nothing paying more than what my current rate cut was being paid. So most people in the summer, a lot of the rates got cut down to like $2,800 to $3,000 a week. And so that was a big drastic difference for people who were used to making like $5,000, $6,000 a week. So now I'm happy to report I am seeing some in the 6,000s. I'm seeing a lot more in the high threes, like 35, 36, 38. I think that's kind of the standard. There's a few in the sixes, there's a few in the fives, and I've seen quite a few in the fours. So that's way better than we were doing in summer. I am seeing all types of specialties, ICU, labor and delivery. I'm seeing a lot of pediatrics. I'm seeing a lot of operating room. Then the one I'm in, which is infusion, I'm also seeing med surg. I'm kind of seeing a mix of everything. I'm also seeing a lot of cath lab opportunities. So if you were in the cath lab, those are some of the highest paying consistently that I'm seeing. Now I would never ever recommend you lying about your experience just to get into a position that you think is higher paying. That's super dangerous for your nursing license, and that's super dangerous for patients. Do not do that. But the good news is now that fall is around the corner, hospitals are starting to see more hospital admissions, so they're getting more desperate for nurses, and a lot of travel nurses did leave their contracts because of the rate cuts. So I am seeing a lot more pickup. I'm not really seeing those low rates anymore in the low twos. I'm seeing mid threes to fours to fives and a few sixes. The sixes are not as common, but you know what? Maybe it'll get better as the months go on, but now is definitely the time to start looking for those contracts because they're getting more lucrative. All right, so let's talk about the 3 states that I consistently see high rates at no matter what. And that would be, number 1 is California. I always see contracts in California. Now, California is an interesting place to go just because I personally haven't been there as a travel nurse. I've heard great things though. I've heard that they have very strict rules about patient ratios and that it's a pretty great place to work as a nurse. However, the cost of living is high, your taxes are gonna be high, things like that. But I do consistently see high rates out there, and California is a huge state, so there are lots of different cities that you could choose from. You might wanna consider getting your California license. It does take a few months though for your license to go through. Another place that I see consistently a lot is Washington. I recently just got my Washington license and I'm hoping to eventually go out there at some point. I've heard very good things about the hospitals out there, but one downfall with Washington is the cost of living is going to be high, so you might have a harder time finding cheap rent. But one good thing that I have noticed by looking on Furnish Finder and Airbnb is there is a lot of inventory. And when there's a lot of inventory, you usually have better luck finding places and there's more competition, so they can't really drive the prices up too much like they can in, for example, here in Indianapolis, there is not a lot of inventory for housing. It's just not a popular place that people come. So short-term leasing and Airbnbs tend to be like unreasonably expensive for the area just because of the lack of competition. The third state that I see a lot of high-paying contracts in is Oregon, and I am happy to report that I also just got my Oregon license. So the one thing that all 3 of these states have in common are they are not compact states. So if you live in a compact state, one of the benefits is you are able to work in another compact state without getting a nursing license, and there's a lot of them. There's like almost 40 states or something like that that are part of the compact program, and so there's a lot that you can work in. But those big 3, California, Oregon, and Washington, are not compact, so you have to get a separate nursing license there, and the fees do add up. Your agency can help you with some of it, but they don't really pay for everything. For example, Aya was able to help me out with Oregon, part of it, like my fingerprints and verifying through Nurses my license, but they did not actually pay for the application, and the application was almost $200. So the fees do add up. But in my opinion, if you are interested in going out to one of those states, it is so worth getting your license, because I would say that those are the most stable jobs that are high paying that I have seen in the past year. They're consistently posting jobs out there, and they're consistently higher than the rest of the United States. Now, it's an even bigger perk if you you know somebody out there where you could stay with them, or you have family that can like hook you up with a room for cheaper rent, then definitely get on it. So I hope that this gave you a little bit of encouragement that the rates are going up. I would definitely start looking. And isn't this Spice Girls shirt cute? I'm gonna leave it in my description box. I always get comments about like what I'm wearing. And if you are new, I always leave everything in my description box, including what I'm wearing. So I will talk to you guys in the next video, and I'll see you later. Bye.